Tequila on the rocks, couple shots I couldn't stop it. All I could think about was you. All I think about is you.
Testing 1 2 3. This is the wireless mic. Alright, here I am. It's August 25th, Friday, and yeah, it's time to vlog. You know, the time has come. 49 years old, going on 50 in January, and I finally met my biological parents, family, and my birth mother's coming today, and my brother and his wife. Just waking up still, drinking my coffee, and usually I wait till later, but it looks like I'll have some wine, get started early, and that's it. And I'm going to kind of go over hopefully a summary, maybe a 15-minute summary, you know, kind of introduction to meeting my biological family. Because I was adopted, you know, got my DNA, just found out months ago, and yeah, the day has come to where I meet face to face with my mother and my brother and his wife. So alright, stay tuned and we'll be back. Okay, alright. Whew. Okay, alright. Let's do it. I am, alright, I gotta remember the camera's in front of me because I got my tablet here as a remote. So I gotta remember to look at the camera and trying to capture this moment. Just do an introduction, quick summary. I know it's hard because you know, at the time, yeah, at the time the emotion was raw. It was better, you know. I was in tears and crying, and a really emotional moment in my life. At least I can you know, talk about it now better. But so what is this about? Okay, so here it is. It's August 25th and 2023, and all right, let's get right into it. Today is the day I'm meeting my birth mother for the first time. I got my DNA test results back a few months ago. I tried to when I was overseas in the Philippines during pandemic. It was hard, you know, and I was over there 5 years waiting to get back, going through immigration. Just, it's a long story. So get ready for a wild ride, you know, on this journey. Kind of an important transition in my life right now, meeting my biological family for the first time after 49 years, having been adopted. And so let's start with today. I'm meeting my birth mother and Leslie and my brother Chris. So I'll give you a little background. So like I said, yeah, I did get my DNA test after waiting 49 years, having been adopted, and yeah, just searching, waiting to find my biological family, and the day has come. For the last several months, I've been in contact, you know, chatting with them, mostly text, some phone, you know, little video. And today's the first time meeting face to face in person. So they're on their way, probably less than an hour away. They're coming, my mother and my brother. So on my, so yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to catch the moment. I'm just nervous. I'm really nervous. To be honest, you know, had to have some, you know, had to have some wine to relax. Just a little red wine. You can see that smoke lighting some incense, getting some cheese, some energy flowing, some good vibes, all that Zen, whatever, you know what I'm saying. All right, but man, yeah, smoke's in the way. 6 o'clock. Well, no, it's 5:30 p.m. I'll give a little quick introduction. So, background to my family. I was adopted at birth, 1974, 49 years ago, American Fork, Utah. Of course, in the USA. And adopted into LDS services, social services, family, Mormon family. Was raised, Logan, Cache Valley, whatever, Salt Lake area, West Valley, West Jordan, all that. And at that time, it's crazy, by the way, when I was in American Fork, adopted my family, Carol and Marvin. They together, but they divorced when I think I was 3 years old, and I don't remember. So grew up with my mother, my adoptive mother, sister Wendy, most of my life. Would visit my father Marvin, good quiet guy, and all's good, but I don't, it's hard to say if we really had a close relationship. I know he's always working. Even my mom was always working, and I'll just say for now, they did what they did, with situation, things, God, things happen for a purpose, a reason, and it is what it is. And so with what they had and God gave them and everything, I think, it's all good. I'll get into more detail about that later, but growing up, but I was always a black sheep, didn't really feel connected or close, and tried even more recently. So for me, it's really emotional. It's good timing to have met my family. It was really hurt and it hurt with some things that happened in events in my life, and became disabled. And my dad was there, later on, with the surgeries that I had, and with my mother, and we were close. But yeah, everything just, I don't get into all that. I'll get into it later. But yeah, it was really hard and good timing to meet my biological family. They just weren't there when I needed them, and I went overseas, and time went by, the holidays, having a 20-year marriage and divorce and needing family and just not having the support I needed, being disabled, raising the 3 kids, and so I'll get into all that later, my ex-wife and all this, Cindy, and all that. So it's heavy, 3 kids, but yeah, I was overseas. That was really hard for me. Going through a coma, and surviving 6-story fall, you know what I mean? And to my death, it was hard. So I had a lot of trauma. I had a lot of things to go through. So it's very meaningful to me to, to always have wanted family and need that in my life. But I grew up, so first I divorced when I was 3 in Richmond, Utah, more north. Then kind of migrated, moved towards Logan. Would visit my dad in like Tremont and Fielding. Later on, 18, got married young, had a child, Tevin, my first child, son. And after married, young, moved to Cedar City about 1 year. Then went to Las Vegas for quite a while, Las Vegas in the 90s. And then year 2000, I moved here, where I'm at now in St. George. But the last 5 years, was overseas in the Philippines, got married, came back. Boom, here I am. So yeah, it was hard getting, wanting to search for my family, records, tried to search before, and they were looking for me. My father was on the DNA, Randy, my mother Leslie, and my brother Chris. They were all on there, on DNA, on Ancestry. And I went through my heritage at first, nothing showed up. Got it again, was, trying to get shipped. They wouldn't do it because of the pandemic when I was in the Philippines, so I had to wait till I get back. And I honestly, I know it's a lot of stuff, heavy, intense emotion, but I'll get into all that later. But I didn't know if I was going to get back alive, A lot of people didn't think I was going to make it back alive, but here I am. And the day has come. So, now, I grew up with a sister, but my mom didn't get remarried, but my dad got remarried to my stepmother Anne. They had five, so I had 5 stepsisters, They had 2 together, if you want to say half sisters. But 5 stepsisters, and my one sister Wendy, and another fostered daughter, I guess you'd say I was adopted, and then another sister, Chris, who'd be the oldest. And she lives in Idaho. So I'll go into that later. So that was on my background with my adopted family. Now onto the background of my on my mother's side of my biological family. On my mother's side, Leslie. Now, having been married, and she had an ex, her husband passed away. I believe it was Ron. I'll get into more later. Just kind of get this down now. It's a lot of blended families, a lot of things to remember and names, so it's all kind of still new to me. But okay, here we go. But yeah, I met I'll wait until she gets here, we'll just, yeah, wow. But it was emotional. We were both, of course, we were just crying, to reconnect. I mean, for the first time, and we talked to each other, heard each other's voice over the phone. I talked to her. I talked to my brother Chris, briefly on the phone. It was just a shock, at first, like, wow, okay, and everybody's kind of probably researching who's who, what's going on in their life, and you know what I mean? Like, it's a shock, but we texted for, like, it was like, I know, pardon the, it's kind of, it is an example, but it's like falling in love the first time, but even more deeper and more intense. The emotion was pretty crazy. I don't know what the video's doing, but but once we talked, it was like, you meet your mother, your biological mother, and it's like, and to find out all the ways you're alike, there's a familiar, feeling to it, like the connection you have, the bond, from birth, and then being separated, but our personalities, we hit it off really good. When we talked, we text, for hours and hours, days and night, and even now we can just talk forever. So, it was a relief. It was really a good bonding moment, therapeutic and emotional, but it was, it was like amazing, to have that connection, and it's like just falling in love, with, who better than your mother? I mean, really, is, obviously the first important, woman in your life, and then you get married, you have a wife, and then you have a daughter. So, I mean, it's like it, growing up with all women, I didn't, grow up with, close connection with my father, really, and having brothers around. So, I became a little, whatever, you want to say feminine, what I mean? But I'm masculine too, it's all good. I just I joke around because I grew up playing with Barbies, so I'm kind of gender fluid. I didn't even know that term until I came here, so it's all good. I had to say that. It just makes me laugh, like whatever. But so it explains a lot. But it was good. I bonded really well with my mother, and we just communicated about everything in life. I mean, just everything you can think of. And that was really meaningful. That was really good. And even to this day, we just, we went through a lot of trauma, a lot of drama, a lot of things that hurt us, a lot of betrayal and family. So I'll wait till she gets here if she wants to share and get into all that. But yeah, I mean, I chose the time and waited. I'll just get into everything in my life, really. I'm an open book. It don't matter, you know what I mean? Everybody has their, friends, family, enemies, good, bad, and ugly, haters, whatever you want to call it. It's like, life's too short for that shit. This is the day has come and arrived where this is our moment. And yeah, we feel hurt. And I always wish and hope for a reconciliation, and in a way, maybe this is a bridge, to redemption. And I really hope that. But at the same time, we have that pain and that hurt and that betrayal. I've gone through a lot, and I can feel her pain, from birth, being separated. They kind of took me away from her, not really much choice as far as her wanting to keep me and couldn't because of, at the time, in the Mormon church and her family being strict, her parents, and there's just a lot of drama and kind of abusive situation to where, she couldn't keep the child, and they just put her to sleep and took her away, and she, when she woke up, she thought she was going to at least see me, say goodbye, but she never did. And yeah, I'll wait till she, explains it, but I think that's, so far kind of, it's like, so she, yeah, wow. And then my father, Randy, him, have kind of, what I mean? They were just young, parents strict, Mormon church, nowadays that could have been different. They could have said, hey, we'll help you keep the baby, you know what I mean? That could have been an option, but they gave up for adoption, and I'm thankful that, she at least, at that time with the whole conflict with Roe versus Wade and the abortion laws, she could have had an abortion, and she didn't. So respect, to her for that. And all right, so on her side, she with Randy, that was it. When I was born, I'm their only child together, and then that was it. They move on. They married. Well, they weren't married, but they married different people, and here we are to this day. And capturing that raw moment, that memory, 49 years ago. You know what I mean? For me, I was just born. So, but for them, 17, 18, just becoming adults. It's like and having that baby and then being adopted. And I don't know, my father, I would imagine being a man at that time, feeling like, well, what choice do I have? What can I do? You know what I mean? And yeah, you know what I mean? She feels like, you know, what happened? Where is he? Come and get me from the hospital. Come and get the baby and let's go. Let's go together. You know, I mean, that's kind of how I am too. You know, I don't know if it's my mother or father, you know, where I get that romantic adventure kind of fool for love, you know, kind of thing in me. Both of them, I think, in a different way. They have different perspective where they come from, but I think it will capture both of it. I think, you know, both. But yeah, you just feel kind of hopeless. Like, what can you do? You know. So I don't know. All right. So my mother, on her side, biological mother, she got married again. Her own husband passed away, and then so she has my brother Chris that she had with that marriage, and then also Nick. And Nick passed away. I think I want to say, was it? No, I had my near-death thing about 2008, but I think it was 2016. Anyways, my brother Nick passed away. And so there's Chris, and then my brother, and then my sister Abby and Brittany. And we'll get into all the dynamics and all that later. So Chris and my mother, you know, Leslie's coming to see me. All right, and then on my dad's side, Randy. And yeah, I talked to him, and that's coming too. It's going to be an interesting journey. Whether he comes and visits, maybe, perhaps, or I go there. But you got to make it happen. It's coming soon. But I talked to him on the phone just yesterday. I had a good conversation. I talked to him one time before that briefly, but we were both so nervous, and you know. But yesterday was good, and I talked a little bit to my other brother, Chris. So on Randy's side, I have another brother, Chris. And then I also have a sister on my father's side, Rebecca, and Jennifer. And that's with my father, Randy, and Ruth is their mother. And then Ruth also has two other kids, Nick and Victoria. They kind of grew up, you know, with Randy, pretty much think, but had a different father. But they all kind of grew up and talked a little bit, text, you know, like with Jennifer. Really cool, but I talked more with Rebecca and on the phone. And we're going to video chat, maybe we'll do that vlog. And we're just going to, you know, this whole thing, yeah, wow, it's been interesting journey, and really, really, I don't know how to explain it, you know, kind of speechless. The freedom, you know, the feeling identity, you know, it changes you, like the connection. It's like not knowing that part of you, you know what I mean? And it's not to say everybody's different, you know, it's not to say you can't have a bond, you know, like family, you know, it's not just blood and genetics, but I mean, you know, you have a bond with, you know, friends that are like family. I have a friend grew up with, Shalene. I love her, you know, she's like family to me, like a sister, and you know, I'm start crying and shit, but I'm thankful for that. And it's sad because her mother, like a mother to me, and I was in the Philippines and she passed away. I didn't get back to see her. Her father passed away, her sister passed away, she's got a brother left. You know, it's just crazy. And then when I was gone in the Philippines, my first wife, Angie, you know, I don't know if they know this, but it hurt me because she was with me, my son Tevin, when I was in the hospital, dying and life flighted. And my stepmother, my mother-in-law, Sue, God bless her too, you know what I mean? She was like best friend. They had, you know, it's crazy memories. And she passed away when I was in the Philippines. And I promised, you know, like after I get out of the hospital from my coma, my death, you know, like, and she hadn't seen me since. That was the last time I saw her. So it was just hard when I came back. I didn't think I was going to come back alive, but I thought, you know, the day we were going to, you know, get together again and see her. And so I feel bad about it. Anyways, rest in peace, all the people that passed away. Shit, you know, I was going to cry, but, and I feel bad, you know, I guess to capture it and get into it. It's just kind of my own interpretation of things from how it feels, you know, looking at both sides, because I'm a very empathic person. I just like, you know, and to me it's just normal. It's like, why, you know, when anybody try to like look at different perspectives, like where my mom's coming from, you know, the hurt, you know, just the feelings of the betrayal, where my father's coming from, maybe feel hopeless, you know, it's like, not that they just wanted to give me up, or, you know, it's like, what could they do, you know what I mean? So I never felt, growing up, I never felt hostility, you know what I mean? I was thankful I grew up with a family, being adopted, and loved them, close with my mom, Carol, and loved them all. but I'm honestly feeling hurt to this day because they haven't been around like I need them to be. They have their family, but like I said, I was just never, something ain't right, you know what I mean? And I feel like they're in denial. I didn't get the support I needed. I'm like the black sheep. And they're going through narcissistic abuse. I feel like I was scapegoated. You know what I mean? A lot of shit. So that's hurtful, but I love them, and so anyway, I'll get on to the whole thing. I was trying to keep it at 15 minutes, but maybe we'll go for 30, I don't know. Just get this out. But yeah, kind of looking at where my father and my mother, biologically, where they're coming from. And I can see where my adoptive mother, and my father is coming from. And being a father, I understand, I get it. So it's not like, but you got to communicate. And, you know what I mean? People, personality differences, I understand all that, I understand. But life's too short, and you get to a point in your life. I was on my deathbed. I don't know if you guys got to wait. I don't have to be. They should have more wisdom, be more mature, older, understand. I'm the child, but you know what? It don't matter. I was on my deathbed. Judgment's going to come and hit everybody looking at our mistakes, and there should be reconciliation, forgiveness, and not holding resentment. So, like I said, growing up, I didn't feel resentful. It wasn't, about the Mormon Church, about my family, about feeling anything in my adoptive family or my biological family, feeling not wanted. Now, I would imagine psychologically I would have had abandonment issues, but that's also from, being married, my wife, and having been left, and then being disabled, and just, so you can imagine, yeah, sure, I'm sure I got my codependent issues, I got my abandonment issues. I ain't afraid to talk about it. I mean, it's like, whatever. But I don't blame, I don't resent either side for that reason. And I left the Mormon Church, and I don't regret that. I have my reasons, and I have respect for that, and I don't resent that. That's not why, and they look at it as why or whatever, but no, they don't get the chance to know me. You know what I mean? They say a lot of shit and gossip, and that's hurtful. You know what I mean? I don't need to quote Bible verses to know that. You know what I mean? They're going to judge me for bad language or whatever. It's like, look at your prejudices. Look at your own hypocrisies, your own... we'll get into that later. I'm just getting it all out. But it's like, life's too short. So that's what I'm saying. Forgive, let it go. But there's got to be communication. And it's just not there. I've tried. So I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to confront it. Whether you look at it, confront my demons, whatever. And I encourage my birth mother now. We have that strong connection, and she gives me that strength and that wisdom I needed to set boundaries in my life, to not deal with abusive, toxic fucking people in my life, even if it's my kids. So I'm going to get into all this shit, all this trauma. It's coming out, and it's going to be dealt with one by one. But my hope, I just want to say, my intention, my motive is reconciliation. But you know what? You can't change people, and fuck it. I'm just going to say that right now. Waste your fucking life. You know what I mean? Whether you only got one mother, one father, whether you're adopted, whether you're biological, whatever the fuck you got for family, friends, you fucking hold on to that. All this other shit, money, everything you're not going to take it when you die. You're going to take it, the memory and who you are, your identity, when you die on your deathbed. And living with a disease right now and not having much of a lifespan, I'm going to make the most out of it. And it's a betrayal to think that your kids would waste their fucking life, and that your family would turn them against you to try to hate on you. What kind of family, what kind of parents would do that? And they know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to confront it, I'm going to deal with it. Getting back on track. So, no, I never felt resentful, like, oh yeah, you didn't want me, you abandoned me, but I do have abandonment issues. And, but they do too, you know what I mean? I can see why. We just didn't have what we expected growing up. Maybe with our parents, but me, my mom, my birth mother, yeah, wow, it's heavy, it's deep, it's a deep connection, and it's almost it's so painful that we could have been pushed each other away just from our pain. But I identified with it, and I embraced it. I'm like, no, we're like, our hearts are one and the same, connected from birth. Like I said, you could have that with your adoptive family. I believe that. But I'm just sharing my experience, and I know that they have that deep connection through the suffering, through the pain, and that brings us together. It's hard, it's sad to have to identify it with that, but you know what? That's anyways, it's a good authentic connection. So I love her. I love my father, Randy. And just going to confront things and get it all out. I'll get into the dynamics more later. But yeah, I never felt, that's what I was going to say, try to keep my thoughts together. But yeah, I never felt that. And some kids, they say, are adopted and they kind of have a resentment, an anger issue about that. But no, I just felt nothing but love, meeting them. I'm glad they didn't reject me. They welcomed me, and on both sides, and that means a lot. But it was outside their control. I mean, it's a maturity thing. I think some kids, maybe the age, they're, I don't know. I had a lot of things happen, so it's like I adapted and have a sense of maturity with understanding and having empathy towards that. Maybe some kids, they got issues and they got to resolve, and they're angry, like, why did you give me up for adoption and all that? But no, I don't feel that way. So, and maybe they thought on their part, oh wow, what is he gonna reject and think that we just didn't care about him and gave him up because we didn't want him. But anyways, that's not the situation. I didn't know what happened, but now I do. They didn't really have kind of a choice in the matter. It was outside their control, and they just had taken me away and adopted me out real quick. You know what I mean? They figure the grass is greener, like, oh, get some Mormon family, oh, they're all good. But no, it wasn't all good. My family growing up, my adopted family, had their drama, even to this day, whether they wouldn't admit it, or not. Everybody has their drama, and it's like, we're in good company. I think they should be more open and honest about it, but that's their choice. But yeah, they got divorced when I was 3, so it's like, as far as going to a good family and Mormon and righteous and all that great stuff and strong family you know what I mean? Sorry, just wasn't like that. And I'm just being honest and real. I'm not trying to be critical just to complain. I'm very thankful and blessed to have grown up with my adoptive family on both sides, both of mother and father, and all my siblings, everything who I know. To be honest, I grew up, like, I have memories, like they are my sisters, and I love them, and it hurts me, and it hurts me bad. I don't know where they are. I don't know what happened to them. Like, it changed my identity. What the fuck? Where are you? What happened to you? We have memories growing up together, and I love them, but they don't treat me like I'm part of the family. And I suffered for years, and then got divorced, divorced after 20 years marriage, single father, have custody of my 3 kids after almost being killed, you know what I mean? From a schizophrenic ex-wife. And then I needed family, and they weren't around during the holidays, and they wonder why I just said fuck it and get out of America and go to the Philippines. Exile. Felt abandoned again when I needed support, didn't come around. And all the drug fucking infestated, bullshit here. And my kids growing up, and they got older. My son, Elijah, he made his decision. He's going to resent and blame me for their shit because they can't be responsible for their own actions. And then my son, Calvin, he made his choice, but I get blamed for it. He was 18, and I came back, was there, got married, came back. He made a choice. He came with me and Abby, but my daughter, I had sole custody of me and my daughter, Abby. We went to Philippines. I had every right to make that choice, but they're going to hate on me, and they're going to project this abandonment shit like I left you, and have my family think that because they can't deal with their own issues. And you got your own mind. You're brainwashed by that shit, but I'm just going to throw it all out now and get it over with. That's what happened. And I'm back. So their mother wasn't there. I remarried Jane, and Abby and her had a bond, but it's like, I hope it all gets back on track, but they get their boyfriends, they get their kind of go on their selfish mode, wait till their life, falls apart. They have disease, they have kids, and the kids act like that to them, you know what I mean? It's like, life's too short for all this bullshit. I got a few more minutes, I'm just going to end it at that, but, so I feel psychologically, I'll just say, I feel a sense of everything I've given my life for. It's to love. My mother, I gave up literally my life to die for her, my adoptive mother, Carol, with what happened to me, and I'll get into that later. But it's a love. It's not a blame thing. It's just what happened. She had a government thing, a legal problem, and I went to fight for her, and was willing to die and give my life for her. My wife, my ex-wife, Cindy, would have given my life for her, and she was with me, and I'll get into that later. But yeah, when I almost died and fell to my death 6 stories from an airport. My ex-wife was with me, and like I said, she struggled with schizophrenia. I taught my kids, always, respect for your mother and mental illness. Don't give up. You don't get divorced. So I held on, even after my falling or whatever. Get into that later. But yeah, she was going to leave me, and then we were married 10 years, but I stayed together with her 10 more years. She got a lot more abusive. It's all public record. It's all criminal. It's not what I say. It's not my opinion. It's not a matter of interpretation. You know what I mean? The facts are out there and what they are, but they deny shit. They scapegoat me. It's very narcissistic. They don't even know the truth. They don't even find out to care. I got blamed for a lot of shit and hated on, and that's where I'm at now. But it's all public record. What's there to hide? You can look at the legal shit, what happened to my mom with the government. It's funny because it relates kind of what's going on with Trump right now with the charges and the criminal and the law thing about conspiracy against the U.S. government. That's what hit my mom. And treason and all this stuff and hiding $3 million, and then she took out my equity on the house that I bought, and took away that money and ranch. You don't think I know? So I feel very hurt and betrayed. But no, she looked at it as a guilt thing and not a love thing. But I trusted her. I loved her with all my life. I feel very hurt and betrayed. I'll get into that later, but because that was a prime time in my life. I loved my mom growing up. I love my sister. She had to go get subpoenaed because my mom got indictment, go to court, Arkansas. That's where all this shit almost ended my life. And they can't understand. Like, I got subpoenaed, but my sister was pregnant. She got divorced, was with another guy, had a baby. That was a whole other, I want to say, scandal thing going on. But it's like, but I cared about her, my sister. So I go fight my mom's battle. Cared about my mother, my sister, my ex-wife. I was having a nervous breakdown and gave my life for them. And then my daughter, right now I'm hurt over with what happened with Abby, my daughter. Anyways, that's that. So yeah, it's the women in my life, and even with my wife Jane now. So a lot of betrayal, a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. But now, so yeah, it's a relief. I'm just trying to capture, to say that, to meet my, my birth mother, didn't have, a brother growing up, a father to connect with. So I'm really excited, happy to see my brother Chris now, really soon here. Really soon, any minute. In fact, I walk right in any minute. But I feel bad, like my father. I'm thinking, what are they going to say? And I'll end it with this on this note. It's like, all my life I fought for love, for marriage, for my life, for people I love. And it hurts, you know what I mean? It just seems like, is it all in vain? I did die for, I'm willing to die for them. And then this is how I get treated. They don't look at that and understand it as love. And it feels betraying. And that's just where I'm coming from. Maybe I'm missing something, communicate with them where they're coming from. But I put it out there, try to communicate. They ignore it. Even on an important day of my life. It's sad I can't share that with them. That's their choice. They won't blame me or not. But that's how I feel. And I feel guilt about, like, if there's anybody right now I want to go rescue, instead of my wife, my mother, all this, growing up, I'm like, you know what I mean? I have a father, Randy, and a brother, Chris, on his end. They're together right now. I talked to them yesterday. I'm like, I just want to go knock on their door and just come in. And it's like, if I want to fight and get that energy back and fight for love again, and I feel bad that I think my father, all right, I'll just say it, I met Gloria, his wife, I don't know, they're divorced, but they're separated, and I met her, sweet lady. She was the one that reached out to me and told Randy and about me looking for him and finding him, Gloria, and she had to leave him, due to the alcoholism and maybe some drug-related things with my brother Chris, and kind of put an ultimatum, another boundary thing, like, hey, it's either he's got to go or I'm going to go and leave. And she left, and it hurt her to leave him, my dad, Randy. So, I feel for them, and I'm like, so I feel bad, and I think my father, from what I understand, how I look at it is, I'm thinking he couldn't give up on his son Chris. He wasn't going to leave him, even with the drug problem. So he chose to stay, and she had to leave. And from what I understand, that's why. And it hurts me, because I'm like, I understand that. And maybe back to when I was born, he felt like I'm not going to, he feels bad enough he gave up, like he gave up on me and left me. And my birth mother, Leslie, she feels like, why didn't you come back? She's always, why didn't Randy, why didn't your father come back to get me and you? You know, but they were young, and it was just, it is what it is, and it's hard. So I feel that even when I talk to them, I can feel it on both sides, from both of them. But I'm like, fuck me, you know, all the times I find my life, I'm sorry. You know, you just feel empty. You don't have it in you anymore. But I'll get it back. God, give it to me. I love them, and I'll fight for them. Even my kids, I love them all. I love everyone. But I'm hurt and betrayed. But I feel like, you know, maybe my father, Randy, had that guilt. Like, he couldn't give up. He's not going to let Chris go. He's going to stay with him. He's not going to give up him. And the minute it goes back to my birth, you know, he's not going to let him down and give up on him with a drug problem. You know, God bless him. I love you guys. I want to be there. We're going to be sharing a drink together and get it all out. Okay. And I also feel bad. My brother Nick on my mom's side that passed away, he had a drug problem. I know it's hard on her and hard on all of them. And I wish, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, I grew up, I was kind of shy. I'm not, I'm a troublemaker, rebel in that sense. But after you go through so much trauma and shit, even I'm disabled, I'm like, you know what, fuck it. You know what I mean? You're just like, you know what I mean? You know, life's too short. So I feel like, you know, I'm a crazy, you know, kind of crazy in that way that, hey, if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be me. I'm going to get shit and bring people together. And I feel like, man, if I was there with Nick, I'm your crazy motherfucking little brother. I mean, older brother, sorry, you know what I mean? I'm there, and I would have helped him. I feel like I could have said something or did something to help him, and he'd still be here today. So I even feel bad about that shit. I wanted to get to know him, you know, but anyways, God, you know, rest in peace. It is what it is, and I was shocked at first, you know, like, damn, it's good my parents, you know, are alive, my mother and father. But I'm like, damn, I lost a brother. Anyways, you know, and on both sides, you know, they had some grief, you know, some death and loss and things like that, you know. Divorce is like a death, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of emotion where everybody's coming from. So this is going to be one crazy, sorry my language, I just, you know what I mean? But fuck it. It's a lot of crazy shit. Family. But, you know, it's family. And that's, I believe, you know, when you're on your deathbed, you're going to take that shit with you, your memories. And you got to make shit right. You got to fucking fix shit, make it right. Everybody makes mistakes. You got to let go and forgive. A week ago, almost from today, I was in the hospital. A week ago from today, the ambulance came, took me to the fucking hospital. It's unusual, I had high blood pressure. Like really out of control, and they made a determination that it was an emergency. I was having, you know, the EKG, my heart reading was off the charts. It was, anyway, they didn't go into all that, but I'm like, fuck me, man. I mean, if I go into surgery, the chances of me making it out, I mean, I had over 11 surgeries in a year. I don't think I'll make it out again with anesthetic and you know what I mean? I'm like, and then doing this when I'm about to meet my birth mother and shit. So, not that I refused treatment, I just didn't want to, I just refused some of the IV and some of the shit. I'm like, do the blood test, do the x-ray, get me out of here, I don't want to stay. So I didn't want to be admitted, so I left. You know, I probably would have been admitted in the IV, and I'm like, I don't want to go through all this right now. So I came back home and made that choice to, like, I don't want to deal with that shit. You know, just God help me in my health, but it hurts, you know, you need your family there, your kids. I'm as good as dead to them, you know what I mean? I'm at the hospital, I talk to my daughter. Anyways, I'm going way past the 30 minutes. I'm going to leave it at that. It takes up battery and memory. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. To bring you up to date, it's where I'm at emotionally. And if it mattered to them to find, you know, this important day for me, they would have, my kids I'm talking about, they would have reached out and shared this moment with me. That's her choice again. But my mom, she's given me, you know, the strength, the wisdom, the courage, being brave, you know, and the boundaries to not put up with bullshit. We went through too much. Now we got to enjoy our life together. All right, so I had to get that out, let that go. That's what I'm going to do. All right, thanks for watching, and hopefully this video has a delay. All right, anyways, I hope the voice doesn't have a delay. Audio is good, the video is good, and I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, and I don't know, who knows, by the time I edit, I just put it raw, this is it, capture it, vlog it, and All right. Take care. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.